want to thank you all for coming this morning. This is really exciting to have a group like this. My name is Greg Jones. I'm the cemetery warden here at Shrewsbury. We're glad to have you here. We have a great day, man. I'm so happy that it's not raining out there. There's a few people I want to introduce. Larry Samuels is our senior warden here at Shrewsbury. I'm going to ask Larry to say a few words about our cemetery, and then I'll introduce Casey more formally.
Greg is the cemetery warden. He took over recently in the winter. I'm cemetery warden for the past 2 years. And our historic cemetery, I don't know if you know anything about Shrewsbury Parish Cemetery, but for one thing, we have General Cadwalader, who served in the Revolutionary War, who was buried there, and the epitaph on his grave was written by Thomas Paine. And the way we maintain records for years and years was this lovely document. Let me show you some samples. A logbook, handwritten since 1957 and up to date. But when I took over as cemetery warden, I created an Excel file and transferred our records. So we do maintain our logbook. That's like the Bible, but we stay current.
I believe that's all we have to say, so I'd like to introduce Casey now as our trainer. Casey.
Hi. Hi. It's really nice to be with everyone today. I'm really excited to get out there and clean some headstones. And I'm curious, has anyone ever done this before? No? Okay, cool. So this should be really fun. I work for a company called Materials Conservation. We're based in Philadelphia. We work all up and down the Mid-Atlantic region. We work on buildings, we work on public sculpture, monuments, and a lot of churches and graveyards, which is really fun. And I'm always learning and doing new things and meeting new people. So it's a really fun career, I'll say that. So I would say let's head outside. So I brought everybody out here to see just what our general tools will be today. It's pretty simple. There are a few things that you want to remember when you're working on any historic material, which is you want to start from the least invasive means possible. So the softest, the gentlest, and then work your way up depending on the condition of the material. So today we have some gloves, but I want to talk a little bit about the main product that we're using, which is called D2. It's a biological solution, which means that it's part totally natural biocide, and it has a little bit of a natural pH neutral, non-toxic cleaner in it. So you can use it full strength, or you can cut it in half with water, which basically makes it go a much longer way. And both ways is safe and effective. The only thing is that if you use it at full strength, you can basically just spray it on a headstone and leave it. And the rain will wash it away, and it will slowly eat away at all of the lichen, mildew, and any biological growth on the stone. If you cut it in half with water, you're going to want to scrub it. So that's why we have our scrub brushes, and that's what we're going to do today because it's a little bit more fun. So I have water bottles, and we have some pump sprayers that are filled half with D2 and half with water. And so basically the general process of doing this is pretty simple. You can spray it on. You want to make sure that you get an even coat over the entire stone. And then you're going to leave it on for 10 to 15 minutes to let it dwell, really penetrate the stone. And during that time, you don't want the stone to dry. So you can either use more solution from your spray bottle, or you can just use a hose to lightly mist the surface so that it stays wet, essentially. And then you're going to use your brush. You're going to get in the nooks and crannies with your toothbrushes or your small brushes. You're going to use your larger brushes for the general surface. And the biggest thing to remember about this is that whatever brushes you're using, they should be soft bristled. So they shouldn't hurt when you scrape your hand. If you have hard plastic bristles, it's going to be a little too rough on the stone. And then after 15 minutes, you can rinse it down with the hose. And that's it. That's basically it. You can do this, usually we tend to do it once a summer. If you feel like the lichen is very heavy and that the D2 isn't working as strong enough, you can come back within a week and use the full strength and just spray down the stone again and just leave it. And again, that it will work in the stone. It's not harmful to the stone at all. And as it rains, it will basically be self-cleaning, which is pretty cool. That's why we use this product, because it's so easy. Okay, folks, so we have this survey form to record your maintenance. Also record the condition before you start. So it's important, always do your paperwork first, and then you can start cleaning. So we already have some of these filled in because I knew I was going to be here today. Shrewsbury Parish Church in Kent County, Maryland, priority level 1. That's if you are prioritizing an area of your cemetery over another, which we kind of are. We're prioritizing the oldest section. So you want to, if it's visible, you want to record all the information on the front that you can. Marker and associated objects, especially if a marker has broken into pieces, you want to make sure that you record all the pieces that are associated with that. You know, it's sometimes you don't see it or you don't realize, but this piece is probably 3 pieces. You know, you have your base stone, your lintel, and then the actual headstone, so you can record all 3, because sometimes a part of it's missing, which means you're just recording these two parts and this is gone. So important to think about how a headstone is actually put together. Then when you talk about the orientation of the face, which way this is facing, just record it there. Carved surfaces, you want to make sure that you, as much as you can see, record all of the inscription and any other carved artistic elements, ornamental elements, and the back is flat, so you don't record anything for that. And then a quick description of the design, especially if you don't have any of this information left and it's just a blank headstone. You just want to do your best to record what it looks like, what the shape is, you know, how much is missing, if any of it's missing, or if it's just that the surface has worn away. And then, very important, before you clean it, you want to record its overall condition, which is like what it looks like today, which basically this is, I would consider this stone to be in fairly good shape. It's sound structurally. I mean, you can get a little bit, but you know, for the most part, it is standing on its own. It's very strong. It's stable. There is most of the inscription is still intact. The only thing that we have going on is that it has some biological growth on it. So we would record that. If you can record the inscription, the whole inscription here, and then obviously when you get home and after you take your iPhone photos, which you should always take a before and after to see your work, you put the before and after here. So that in 3 to 5 to 10 to 15 to 50 years from now, we can say, oh, in 2017, all these really wonderful people got together and cleaned this headstone, you know, and cleaned it with this material, you know, which is also interesting for people like us because I look at maintenance records from 100 years ago and half the time I'm just like, wow, you know, the stuff we use isn't all that different.